Chapter. We're talking real money.
You remember the commercials? They're still around. The commercials that where Jennifer Garner goes, "What's in your wallet?" And you remember back in the day when you had a big, thick wallet. In fact, it was made fun of in multiple episodes of Seinfeld.
Wallet for your money.
Look at this thing. It's huge. You got more cow here than here.
Shows a hamburger.
I need everything in there.
Irish money.
I might go there.
Show this card at any participating Orlando area Exxon station to get your free Save the Tiger poster.
Just give me that.
What's in your wallet
Oh,
these
that's
days?
funny. That's funny.
I'm Don McDonald along with Tom Cock, and this is Talking Real Money. And the wallet has been the repository of our money for generations. Our money. It used to be money. Then it was money and pictures and receipts. And then it was money and pictures and receipts and credit cards. And it just got thicker and thicker until I swore when I was younger that my backache was due to sitting on that big, fat, full of everything wallet. So what's in your wallet these days? That question was posed by the Wall Street Journal in an interesting twist on the concept, talking about wallets, but talking about where we stand today with money and the things that kind of fit in your wallet. That was your cue.
Oh, that was me. Okay, thank you for that.
When
I have a split screen. I'm not going to lie.
Are you watching your daughter's?
I'm watching my daughter's game at the same doing the show. So
I thought
feel
you were
bad.
looking incredulously at the communication system.
Right.
Let me do that again.
You didn't give the phone number for one thing, so I was kind of I was waiting for that.
I figured I'd wait for that, but okay.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody's going to be or watching the silly football game. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. I'm sorry, not silly.
I just missed the first goal, too, somehow, while you were...
There was a goal in your daughter's game that early?
2 minutes in, yeah, so that's a good sign for us. So
855-935-8255. Let me get into this again. So, we have wallets. Yes, we do. We have wallets and they have stuff in them.
How about you?
So what is in your wallet? But let's use that as sort of a means by which to look at the bigger picture of our financial life.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That is great lead in. The state of America's wallet. This comes from a Wall Street Journal piece of a few days ago. It's fascinating. It really is because, well, first of all, who carries around cash anymore? But according to this article, I know. How much you got in there?
$58 in cash.
I don't think I have anywhere near that.
For a month.
Yeah, I don't think I have anywhere near that. But they're saying Americans carried an average of $74 in cash in their wallets and purses in 2023. That's up from $60 in 2019. So that you already feel richer because that's $14 more right there. Boom. Even with inflation.
No, it's not more money with inflation.
No, I said even with inflation, you feel better, right?
Yeah, it's less.
Which is right. What it's been all about, right? Is the inflation aspect of all of this. It's fascinating, but people are feeling pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I tell you why I love this piece, because I think it's more honest than looking at things like the GDP or the unemployment rate.
Because it brings it home.
Yeah, it does. It really tells you here's the true situation, right? Rather than sort of this amorphous. It's just hard to put your finger on things, but this is good because listen to this. It's fascinating that people do care a little bit more, right? But here's the other part that I think most people believe is not the case. It turns out, according to this article, that you are actually making more money now than you did at the end of 2019. Now, most people are going to say they're not, because in terms of real dollars, I'm not, right? Real being after inflation. But it turns out, no, that's indeed not the case. It says here Americans are now making more at the end of, or in 2023 than they did at the end of 2019. And remember, we had that huge run up in inflation in that period of time that really made it hard to sort of, if you will say it, beat the money that you were making back in 2019. I think that's significant because I think most people believe they're losing to inflation. Yeah, that's fairly important.
Generally, with inflation, and this has been the rule for a long time, we feel what we spend, we ignore what we earn. And so we feel the price increases and we neglect the income increases. It's usually pretty much a wash. We're going to talk more about the numbers on things in your wallet after this. 855-935-TALK is our number.
Tom and Don are talking real money. Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Let me give you a phone number. That's 855-935-TALK. That's how you join us on the program to talk about the money issues that matter to you. In my hands right now, I have my wallet. It's still too thick. I want my wallet to be my iPhone. I want everything to be on my iPhone. I want one
card and my ID. That's it.
Yeah. Well,
that would be good.
Currently, though, we have more than that. Like right now, okay, I open my wallet.
Well, you got your Sears card in there, do you?
This is, yeah. I remember that little Sears card.
Oh, yeah.
It was thinner than the rest of the cards. Yeah. No, I'm following along in the article. So I looked in my wallet and here it is. It's my debit card. That's the next thing they talk about after cash and your income, Tom.
And it's a little confusing when you read the part about the debit cards. What was your take
because
here?
a debit card is your direct connection to your bank account.
Right. Which you really shouldn't use.
So it is the conduit to your bank account. Yeah, you shouldn't use it, although merchants love it because they save the 2.9% processing fee.
What you do is you set up that transaction, and as you just said, people can directly access your bank account. Better use a credit card.
Out.
Yeah, better use a credit card where you have the protection of the bank should something go wrong. But people do apparently have better balances in those than they did just a couple of years ago, right? I mean, that's good. People had a lot more in 2020 and 2021 when the government was giving people a lot of money.
I wonder why. Yes, I was going to say, why didn't we have more money in our savings and checking?
Yeah, and people now are, of course, saving less than they did then because, well, money was easier to come by. So I think that's a good one. But here's the one that's a bit troubling. You've heard a little bit about this recently in the news, and that is credit card debt, which has been creeping up.
Oh, see, I was going to go, okay, next thing in my wallet.
How much?
Credit cards.
I don't want to know how many you got.
Too many. Well, my Apple card is my go-to. Reason the Apple card is the go-to is because every time I use it. So you
actually have a card.
Yeah, it's in my Apple wallet in here. The Apple card is my go-to because every time I use it at a gas pump or a restaurant or wherever, it generates a one-time number that is only good for that transaction. They can't swipe my number.
Right. Remember we had a guy call us on the air told us, no, that's ridiculous. It can't do that. Well, apparently they could. Yeah. But can't you just use your phone?
I can use my phone, but some merchants still don't have the capability to do that. So I have that.
But the balances on credit cards have gone up. I mean, the average credit card debt, for people that carry a balance rose to $6,200 in the first quarter of this year. That's up from $5,800 at the end of 2019. So that could be considered fairly substantial.
Yeah, that's too much. We don't want you to have much, if anything, in the way of credit card debt. Credit cards are great tools. I love using credit cards because it gives you a ready source of cash for anything you need along the way in life. But the fact of the matter is the only smart thing to do with them is to pay the balance every single month so that you don't rack up any of that substantial double-digit interest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the interest has gone up.
High.
They mentioned in the article, I think something like 20% or something. It's crazy.
Now,
number.
What else do you have in your wallet? You have a driver's license, I bet. And I'm going to have one for a while because Florida refuses to work with Apple on their driver's license in the phone. So
I just looked at my driver's license because somebody wanted it the other day for something, and I'm good now for like another 6 years or something, which is probably well past when I should be driving. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. If I'm honest with myself.
3 days is probably past.
Probably too much. But the car thing is a fascinating one. The cost of borrowing money for a car is 7.1% in August. That's, quite a bit higher than it was in 2019, almost 2%. And then the price of gas, although that's down, is okay. But then the other part is getting the insurance, the car insurance. It's not pleasant.
Across the board is killing people. The rate of inflation on insurance is astronomical. but it's in very large part because of, I mean, there are a lot of factors, but a lot of it is the proliferation of insurance fraud. There is a lot of fraud both in the automotive and homeowners insurance industry, and people think that somehow they're entitled to money from insurance, or they pull off fakes.
Well, people think it doesn't come from anybody else, which of course it does.
It's coming from the insurance company, but it's all coming from us.
I mean, here's the other thing that's fascinating about the car situation. American vehicles, average age now, 12.6 years. Now, I still have one, let's see, because I bought it. I have one, it's like 10 that my daughter's now driving. Of course, I have the relatively new Toyota when I went crazy.
The very new Toyota.
It's like a year, right? Or coming up on a year.
Yet.
It's coming up on a year, and it's been great. I love my hybrid, but 12.6 sounds, this is where you get into the question of how much you got to how much you got to spend to keep it running. I mean, that could be expensive.
The good news is that and I was in the car repair business for many years, and cars cost a lot less overall to maintain and keep running for very long periods of time. They are built pretty darn well. At least most brands they have good engines. They have good transmissions. They can last for a very long time. Now, the next thing they have here is house keys. That was, I think, on the Wall Street Journal's part, that was a big stretch. Do you keep your house key in your wallet? Ow.
No. In fact, I'll just tell people I don't even lock our door because we have a gated place now. So I don't even know where the key is. They can lock me out. I never get home again. So
the whole idea of locking a house was always kind of fascinating to me, because I look at our house and I go, okay, back door, window, front door, window. I lock the door, break the window.
Yeah.
But
this is a problem though overall for most people. The cost of housing is what they're really talking about. Rents have gone up dramatically. Home prices have gone up dramatically.
About 30%.
In that period of time. Home prices up a lot. Apparently, there's still one that I know that may be overpriced. It hasn't sold
Tom
yet.
hasn't sold his house yet.
So you can start the crying
now. You want Tom's
now.
house? Give us a call, 855-935-TALK. 855-935-8255.
This is the other part that you've seen more than I have. This home insurance premiums average now. Median. That's different. $1,700 in the first quarter. That's up from $1,100 in 2019. That's astounding. That's like a 50% increase in the last 5 years. That is something. And you got to shop for it, and you got to find people that are willing to write it. In your neighborhood, it's harder and harder, right?
Well, our insurance, we've had homeowners insurance canceled because firms move out of the state. They've been leaving the state of Florida. I think our annual homeowners insurance premium is about $7,000 a year. So well above that $1,765 median. And I don't have a super pricey house. Mine's not as expensive as yours.
Well, I have a lot of real estate, as you know.
That's true. You have 2 houses now. But the reality is, your wallet is a fascinating portrait of your life. And my dream, let me give you my little dream wallet. My dream wallet is no more of this thing in my hand. No more of this thing. What did the funny bit say? More cow here than there. More cow than the hamburger. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
This one is like the super thin wallet made out of this super thin fabric, and it's still too thick. I don't want to sit on credit cards and money. We have the technology. It's here right now. I don't understand why governments won't allow electronic driver's licenses and identification.
Just
Florida
put it on
wants
your
to have
phone.
their own system, but Apple has a system. I don't understand why all merchants don't take Apple and Google Pay. I do not understand it. The technology and the equipment is so cheap and easy to use.
But we can say, right?
Yes.
Things are looking better than most people realize by looking at people's wallets. How's that? Fair enough?
Tom
All
and
right.
Don are talking real money. Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
The place to talk about all the things you do with your dough on the radio or a podcast show. This is Talking Real Money. I'm Don. That's Tom. And we hope you'll call us at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. It's free and easy. Now, many years ago, I was in radio, and I was also a stockbroker for a while with Dean Witter. And I was recruited by another firm. They called me and wanted me to come over. And they were going to give me big fat commissions for moving my book over to their firm.
And when you say book, you mean group of clients?
My group of clients.
My group of clients.
My group of clients.
Right.
My clientele, the people I had prospected and cold called and, built a list of, and who were making me a pretty good living, but they offered me a much bigger percentage of the commission if I moved over, because the expectation in the industry is you're going to bring your clients over and then you're going to move some of their assets from one loaded product, commissioned product, to another.
Sell them something new. That generates a new commission, as you said.
And there is turnover in any industry.
Yep.
People leave, people come in, for a variety of reasons. People get fired, people quit, people get a better offer, whatever it might be. And in the financial industry, it's no different. People leave the financial industry. But what do you do as a client? What do you do when your advisor leaves?
I equate it to my doctor.
Such a bad
I know, because, I had a doctor I absolutely loved. Smart guy, worked with him for over a decade. And then one day when I was in seeing him, he said, I'm leaving this practice. I'm going to do, he was going to become an emergency room doctor, which I always thought was a weird transition, but maybe that was better than dealing with me every year. But anyway, the point is you develop the relationship with your advisor, right? I mean, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call and you're told, well, that advisor's gone. And now guess what? I'm Joe and I'm your new advisor. So this happens, but what should you do if you're in this situation? What things should you look for? That's what always comes up. Well, the first one is when you do get that call from the new advisor, right? You should ask them. Oh,
the new advisor at the firm you're with.
The firm you're with, correct. Right, not the one who's leaving.
Right.
That's a whole other show, whole other topic. I'm talking about the client here. You should ask them if they have planning continuity. In other words, does the new person come in know your situation, have access to all the plans that firm has developed for you, knows the asset allocation, all those things? That should be core to the new relationship, rather than saying, oh, well, tell me about yourself. Who are you? Blah, blah, blah. They should know that when they call you. Number two, the firm of which we're working with, that had the advisor leave, you should ask them if they use a team approach, because every firm today, frankly, should have somebody behind that advisor. They really should. And they should have advisors. They should have support staff. In our case, we get tax people. There's a whole raft of people that should be looking at your account and helping take care of you. And that's the way it should be, frankly, today. And I know there's some places where people are doing this, on their own, et cetera. It's not ideal. And I think it's not ideal for the client nor for the advisor for that matter. But here's another red flag, Don. You alluded to this. Here's the thing we see all the time. When your broker, your non-fiduciary advisor leaves and somebody new comes in and they call you and they say, oh, those three mutual funds you're in, those really aren't very good. I got these other ones we're going to move you right into. And that always worries me, because it's like, then what is the advice? What's the belief system of that firm? They don't have one. They just, whatever person comes in and says, we're going left. No, we're going to go right. That should be a huge red flag to people. I see it regularly. And I know breaking up relationships sometimes are hard, but if you face that situation, I'd be moving out to somebody new for sure.
While you might think, when you're dealing with particularly the big wirehouse firms, the Morgan Stanleys and the Merrill Lynches and the like, you may think you're dealing with a monolithic style of money management, but you're not. You're really dealing with a whole bunch of individuals in most cases. Sometimes there are teams. What you want is a company that has an overriding philosophy and style and belief system that carries through from advisor to advisor to advisor, so that no matter what happens to the people, you have continuity. 855-935-TALK.
Tom and Don are talking real money. your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
If it involves money, we are going to talk about it. If you bring it up, all you have to do is call us at 855-935-8255. I'm Don. Tom's there, and you're there. Thanks for being there. And Bruce is in Erie, Pennsylvania. Hi, Bruce. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Our pleasure.
I've been listening to you for about a year and a half, and like what you say about diversification and the investments and how to rebalance and cash out, basically annually take a certain amount out where it'd be 4 or 5%. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to know if when I put in my thrift savings plan, I reallocated everything to 20% in each of the 5 funds, and just want to make sure that's kind of the idea you have.
Well, okay, so that to each of them. So 2 of those are bonds, I think, right? One is the shorter term, one is the G fund,
G and the F,
and then you got the international fund, the small and the large. That's actually a pretty good plan. I mean, because now you're 60% in stocks, 40% in bonds, and you're diversified in stocks between big ones, small ones, and some international. Sure, I think that's a reasonable strategy. Absolutely.
Simple, straightforward.
Okay, I was just kind of concerned that the G is considered like a cash fund, and that might not be appropriate.
No. It's actually, it's got some longer term bonds, and they are very good bonds that have very high yields for 100% safety.
All right. Well, that's essentially what I wanted to know. Thank you.
All right. I got a question for you, though. You're in Erie, PA. Where are you on Tom Hanks' movie, That Thing You Do?
What is that?
I'm not a fan.
Not a fan. Okay. Because that's what the movie, that's where the band was from Erie, PA. That was the whole, I love that film. So anyway, well, that's all right that you don't like it.
Okay. Wow.
Don never watched it. So
that is wow. That sometimes his references are just right out.
Just asking.
Nobody gets them except Tom, but that's okay.
I recommend that film. Go home and watch it.
If Tom gets them, then it's fine with us. Thank you for calling. 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Wasn't it really old? I mean, really old? Like Tom
25
Hanks was
25 years old, 25, something like that. Yeah, it's not that thing.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh, you should.
Obscure reference.
All right.
All right, Andrew, it's your turn next. Thanks for saving us. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hey there. Got a portfolio centered in the S&P 500 and Berkshire Hathaway. Pretty much that's it. And would like to think through transitioning to dividend stocks over time, and wasn't sure if you had some ideas about long-term, well-performing dividend stocks. I definitely don't have hodgepodge-itis.
Yeah, what? You definitely what? You definitely
don't have hodgepodge-itis.
No, if you just have an S&P 500 fund, you
he said he has Berkshire Hathaway.
Right, which is like, it's a value fund. It's more of and it's really not well diversified. I mean, it's diversified.
I suggest, by the way, you read the paper, the Wall Street Journal today, which has a lengthy article on the future of Berkshire. But anyway,
no, we don't. We disagree with both approaches. Yeah. We think you should have a really broadly diversified equity portion of your portfolio. Really diversified. By that we mean 13,000 stocks or somewhere in that ballpark. A dividend portfolio is a huge mistake, we believe, because dividend stocks, dividend paying stocks, tend to be stocks that are having trouble. And so you're in a higher risk scenario. Their volatility can be greater, and you don't get broad diversification because you get it focused in a few. It's kind of like it's a variation on Berkshire Hathaway, but it's not pure value play because some high dividend stocks just don't grow at all. They just pay high dividends. And we believe a better way to generate income in retirement is from a holistic, broadly diversified portfolio, tapping the overall return of that portfolio over the course of decades.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of research, if you go look for it, Andrew, that shows pretty clearly that there is no free lunch. Higher dividend paying stocks are not giving you something for free. Number two, as Don just alluded to, it's only about half of the stocks total that pay out dividends. And then if you're looking for the ones with higher dividends, you're reducing that diversification even more. And higher dividend, as Don also said, tend to be riskier companies. So you're really kind of reaching for risk. We would prefer a globally diversified portfolio, low cost, and ignoring whether or not a company is paying out a dividend or not, especially the higher payout dividend stocks. Those do concern me.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Take care. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255. And, this is a topic we've covered before and
a lot
covered recently and we'll cover again. The many of the high dividend paying stocks out there, high dividend paying funds and ETFs, many of these turn out to, over a longer period of time, to basically return your principal to you. The 8, 9, 10, 11% dividend yields they promise are in large part because of the constant devaluation of the asset value of that portfolio as those stocks, because if they're paying out a big dividend, then they're either taking it from future growth or they're taking it from the current value of the company. They're actually forced to, if their earnings don't cover it, they're forced to sell assets. That reduces the price of their shares. And it's actually the best illustration of the fact that dividends don't mean anything is owning a dividend paying stock. And if you buy it before the stock goes ex-dividend, it's X price. If you buy it after it goes ex-dividend, in other words, the dividend's being paid off, the stock price is actually reduced on that day by the amount of the dividend.
People forget that part of it all. They just see this, I'm getting this sort of, as I say, free lunch. That's what people believe. You're not getting that. And by the way, you mentioned something I think is absolutely critical. If your dividend is going up, generally it means the value of the stock is going down because look at this. It's now 9%. It's now 10%. So no. And companies that issue high dividends also have a tendency to be ones that need to attract attention because they're not getting it for some other reason. So, but bigger than that, and there's been people, I think Larry Swedrow wrote a piece. There've been people who have written a lot about this, that have looked at it very carefully and found that this is not a way to sort of make more with less risk or some easy way to make additional money. It just doesn't exist.
Well, and one of the most honest firms, mutual fund firms, about building portfolios is Vanguard. And Vanguard has a high dividend yielding ETF. It's a high yield stock ETF. And if you think you're going to get a nice income stream out of it, think again, because this is their high dividend yield ETF, VYM. In this fund, the current SEC yield is just over 2.5%.
Wow. That's not a whole lot of money, especially now when bonds are paying twice that. So that doesn't make sense.
2.6 to 2.8 is what you probably can expect in the near term.
Crazy.
And you don't get the same kind of growth either. The growth is subdued because you don't have the growth stocks in the portfolio. So you're missing out on the best of all worlds. 855-935-TALK.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
The opinions and views expressed in this podcast were current on the date recorded. Opinions, estimates, forecasts, and statements of financial market trends that are based on current market conditions constitute our judgment and are subject to change without notice, including any forward-looking estimates or statements which are based on certain expectations and assumptions.
Although information and opinions given have been obtained from or based on sources believed to be reliable, no warranty or representation is made as to their correctness, completeness, or accuracy.
Information presented on the podcast is not personalized investment advice from Appellate Wealth. The views and strategies described may not be suitable for everyone. This podcast does not identify all the risks, direct or indirect, or other considerations which might be material to you when entering any financial transaction. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and profitable results cannot be guaranteed. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. The podcast is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Apella Wealth, a fee-only registered investment advisor.
Please see Apella Wealth's ADV Part 2A on our website for information regarding Apella's fees and services.
Apella Capital, LLC, DBA Apella Wealth, is an investment advisory firm registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm only transacts business in the states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC or any state securities authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Apella does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing either stated or implied here should be inferred as providing such advice. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. I think I need a nap.